Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Global English 9 students, level A, welcome back. And this is the second part of today's lesson. Today we are focusing on the reading part, and we're still on the population and resources unit. If you look at this reading part, it has three pyramids. Those three pyramids are population pyramids. What country is it referring to? Or are they referring to? I'm sorry. It's to Brazil. Yes. So three of them are referring to Brazil. Do they refer at the same time? No. Different times. 1950s, 2000s, and 2050. Past, present times, and then future times. Okay. In 1950, this was a kind of statistic given to the ages of people living in a kind of sector. They have a sector of people, not all of them, and they found that the 0 to 5 age group, and it's represented by 8% of the total population. The second one, by 2000, they had changed this kind of percentage, as you can see and read, and they took those 0 to 5, they became from 15 to 25 age group. Third of them is in 2050, and this is an expectation for the population at that time. I'll give you 2 minutes to look at the reading section and the related questions here, and then find the answers through your reading and through the text itself. So you have the 2 minutes for you now. Thank you. The questions are 4 questions. The first one, what can you say about the number of people under the age of 5 in 1950, comparing them to the year 2000? Number 2, compare the shapes in 1950 pyramid with 2000 pyramid. What is the change that you can notice? 3, now compare the population pyramids for 2000 and 2050. What do you notice about the 5 or the 0 to 5 age group? And the fourth thing is, what do you notice about the over 60 age group in 2050 pyramid? Now I will give you those 2 minutes to find the answers on your own, then we double check them together. Thank you. Now you have the answers on the board. You can double check your answers. For number 1, the percentage was greater in 1950. Number 2, the shape is different. The 2000 pyramid is not a classic pyramid shape. So there is a little bit change in this. Number 3, in the pyramid for 2050, the percentage of children is under 5 is smaller than before. And in the fourth one, in the pyramid for 2050, the percentage of people in the over 60 group is greater than the other 2 in the pyramids. And on that spot, we also have the grammar part, which is a use of English for some kind of prepositions. What do I mean by prepositions? Yes, thank you. In, on, about, and those kinds of words. Now if we look at here, we have this exercise with some choices of prepositions, and we're getting an example for Germany and some other countries, if I'm not mistaken, and you need to find those prepositions and fill in the gaps with the correct ones. Let's start with the first one. Birth and death are natural causes, population change. Yes, thank you, of population change. The difference, the birth rate and the death rate of a country is called the national increase. So the difference Between, thank you. To work out the natural increase, subtract the death rate, the birth rate, so subtract from, thank you. In some countries, the birth rate is declining. What do I mean by declining? That's a good word to focus on. Yes, getting lower. A recent study in Germany, for example, has shown the country's birth rate has fallen the lowest in the world. Yes, thank you. To the lowest of in the world. In fact, in terms of birth rate, Germany has now dropped Japan below Japan. Thank you. However, globally, the birth rate is far higher than the death rate. The increase, the population of the world is now 1 billion every 15 years. And the last one is in the population of the world. Thank you. Now, we come to the end of this, but not the end of the lesson. We get to the workbook, we need to highlight some of the questions being given. And the first one, that's page 76 for unit 13. The first question, I'll give you 1 minute to look at the instructions and the ones given, and you can consider the answers at that moment. Thank you. Now let's get to the answers together. Number one, the first thing you notice about Brazil, look at them. Yes, is that it's a country of young people. Number two, 62% of Brazilians are under 30, which is one of the reasons. Yes, take your time. Again, that there is a feeling of energy and enthusiasm. Thank you. 3, the climate in the southeast. Let's look at the sentences related to climate. Does it providing jobs? It doesn't make any sense for this. The climate in the southeast makes it a comfortable place to live. Thank you. Now, number 4, the southeast is warm in summer. Yes, A, and it doesn't get too cold in winter. 5, the major cities, Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro, are densely populated, of course, because they are main cities. 6, Sao Paulo is a financial and industrial center. Yes, providing jobs for workers from other parts of Brazil. Now we get to 7. Rio de Janeiro is a tourist destination with great beaches and a world-famous carnival. Of course, the Rio de Janeiro carnival is commonly known all over the world. Now we have 8. There are good communication links between Rio de Janeiro and other cities and countries by road, meaning cars. Also, other things like by sea and by air. Thank you for the questions and answers here. Now we get to question number 2. Answer the following questions about Brazil. You can take the information and you can take the things from the exercise, the previous one, exercise number 1. So this one is going to be an easy task for you. Now let's focus on the vocabulary words here. Yes, and we need to look at them carefully. We have had some of them before in the previous lesson, but now we are going to get more focus on this. The first one is climate. No, it's not the weather, but it's the general features of weather at that place. Also, we have crops. What do I mean by crops? Yes, different types of vegetables and fruit being farmed. Also, exporter. We have two things in trading and business. Exporting, so I give my goods to other countries, or I import from other countries. So, as we say, Brazil is a good exporter for coffee and orange juice. Thank you. Also, we have production. We know this word from before. When you produce something, you make it or you have the process of doing it. Sparsely. Yes, sparsely means in a few numbers and they are in different parts. They are not close to each other and they are few in numbers. Also, we have commodity. What do I mean by commodity? Like coffee is a special commodity for Brazil. We've talked about dense. Yes, dense means thick in number. Afterwards, we have populated, having many people there. Settlement. Settlement in this specific part is a place, say a short or a small place, a small area where people live. Textile is things made related to the industry of cloth and sometimes for carpets, many things. Okay, now let's give those words their proper places in the gaps here. So the first one is outside the major cities. The Southeast Asia is moderately, it is the country's main agricultural city. So moderately populated, thank you. Due its temperate and fertile soil. So temperate climate, so good temperature there. So it's making it ideal for cattle farming and for growing a variety of growing, so it's farming crops. Thank you. Number 4, Brazil is the world's largest producer and of sugar, so exporter, as we said, coffee and orange juice. Of the Amazon Basin, a vast area spreading across the northeast of the country, has an extremely hot, wet climate. Is tropical. It's what tropical rainforest makes communication difficult. So we said that the rainforests are close to each other, too much, and it's dense. Thank you. It is the most, we're talking about another part, it's the most populated area of Brazil. However, there is one exception, which is Manaus. So it's sparsely populated. Manaus in the 19th century grew from a small, so it was not a big city, it was a small place where people live. What did we say? A small settlement, thank you. And this was due to what of rubber? Yes, the production of rubber from rubber trees. Also, it had many uses, such as steam engine and other machines in the industry, for waterproofing and for tires and bicycles. So this is the material we talked about. It is used in many kind of industries, the textile industry. So that was all for that part. The last part of today's lesson is rewriting, and we need to use the words between brackets to rewrite those sentences. The first one, by 2015, the population of Switzerland had risen to 8 million. So it's going to be, by 2015, the population of Switzerland had increased to 8 million. Now also we have between, so if we're going to use between in that sentence, so the population was over 5 and under 9 years old. So it's going to be between 5 and 9 years old. We're going to do the same thing with the upcoming 2 sentences, and I'd be happy if you have any questions and queries on the website. See you next lesson. Have the best of luck.